Sorry, it's popping off the PowerPoint sometimes. All right. Okay. Now after I kind of figure that out, like I know that I'm going to serve. My goal is to serve. People who are overweight, or people who play tennis, or people who, whatever it is, the people you want to serve. And I would spend some time thinking about that a lot. Like, don't just answer it really quickly, but who is it that you really care about, that you really think that you can impact, that your message can help change? That's the first thing. Next, what I like to do, for me personally, this is the process I go through. Everyone's got a different process. For me, I start with an idea. I say, hey, I want to do this really cool thing. And then for me, I have to get a domain name before I'm able to move forward on that idea for whatever reason. I know it's kind of this weird, quirky thing, but I've got to get a domain name. Okay. And so I'm going to show you guys that process. And then I'm going to show you a couple techie, nerdy things. Don't get overwhelmed by this. I promise you it will not make sense the first time, but I'm recording it to show you guys so that when you are doing this step of the process, you're able to go back to this video and just watch it and then copy what I'm doing. Okay. So that's kind of game plan. So this will overwhelm you. It won't make much sense yet, but just watch this video again when you're ready to do this part, and this is how it works. Okay, so you need to get a domain name. So there's a lot of ways to get a domain name. This is a really cool site that Daryl, who's on the training right now, showed me the other day. It's called Instant Domain Search, and it's really cool. So this is how you can kind of start. Is like, what are you gonna be? So you can type in like, let's say it's tennis, and it's gonna go try to find a bunch of tennis sites that are available. So you got 10 agencies, 10 office. Sometimes doesn't get it perfect. So tennis, G tennis, N tennis, M tennis. Let's say it's personal development, personaluse.co, physicalprocess.com, personal uses. Anyway, it gives you different ideas of domains you can get. Okay, and you can also go to GoDaddy and do this. This one I like because it just pulls things up really, really quick. Let me go to GoDaddy, because then a lot of you guys are probably going to use GoDaddy because they've got the best Super Bowl commercials. So that's why people go there, I guess, apparently. So let's say it's GoDaddy you go to. You just got to go. I haven't been to GoDaddy. I don't actually use GoDaddy myself, so it's been a little while. So domains, find a domain search. I'm trying to find one. And I'm just going to type in ideas. So for me, if you guys look, a couple of things, you always want to have the .com. If you can't get the .com, pick a new name. Okay, if you can't get a name, you can add something ahead of it. So let's say if... let's say I wanted lifehacking.com, okay? So let's say I want to do a personal development course on life hacking. I might type that in there, and oh dang, lifehacking.com is not available. Lifehacking.club is available. That's actually kind of cool. Lifehacking.guru is available. Lifehacking.today. But for me, again, I like having the .com, so I can't get lifehacking.com. What else could I do? Maybe I could do instantlifehacking.com. I'll try that and see if it's available. A lot of times I'll put instant in front of it or the in front of it. Oh, check it out. Instantlifehacking.com is available. So I could get that if I wanted to. Now I'm not going to, because those of you guys who know me and know any of my domains, I always put secrets on the end of everything, like .com secrets and expert secrets, and I love that. So I want to get lifehackingsecrets.com. Now unfortunately it's not available because I already bought it. So that's the domain I'm going to use for this experiment I'm going to show you guys through right now. Okay, like I said, I'm not just going to teach you guys conceptually. I'm going to try to build as much of this as I can while I'm live with you guys. So when you watch the replay, you can go back and just watch it and fast forward and rewind and watch me do it. Okay, so let's say this was available right now. I would go and I would purchase it here in GoDaddy. Okay, so that's the first step here, guys. You got to buy the domain name. Okay, next you got to point the domain name to this thing called CloudFlare. And you'd be like, Russell, what's CloudFlare? And the answer is, it doesn't matter. You just need to get it. Okay, so go to cloudflare.com. If you click on sign up, actually if you come back here and click on compare plans, you click on that. There's a free plan. All you need is a free plan. You don't got to pay for any of them. Just get the free plan, sign up right now, boom, and it's free. Okay, you've got to have it, because what we're going to be doing here, for you to be able to accept money through ClickFunnels, which I'll show you here in a minute, you got to have your websites on a secure server, which secure means, you guys know, HTTPS. You need to have an S in your page when you have an order form, and this will allow you to do that. Okay, so it's free to sign up, but you just got to do it. So you create your CloudFlare account. I'm just going to log into mine really quick. And what's cool about this, that CloudFlare will help you with hackers and a bunch of other things that it does for free. So just trust me, you need it, even though it doesn't make any sense right now. Okay, so you need a CloudFlare account. Now what you got to do, if you look back here, I get my domain name. I'm going to point it to CloudFlare, and then I'm going to point CloudFlare to ClickFunnels. Okay, so you bought your domain inside of GoDaddy. Now, when you log inside of GoDaddy, what you're going to do is you have to point your DNS. Okay, again, does not make any sense right now, you guys. But if you log in fact, I'm not if I have a GoDaddy account anymore. Let's see if I do. Yeah, I don't know my GoDaddy account, but wherever you buy your domain name from, the process is going to be the same. The company I use for mine is called Enom, but it's exactly the same for all of them. So all you need to do is you got to find your domains. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to here's my account. Okay, here's all my domains. So I've got like hundreds of domains here, right? 551 domains. So I'm going to find. So I bought Life Hacking Secrets inside of Enom. So I found it here. Now, if you notice, when you set up your account in GoDaddy or anyone you look for, all you need to know is you got to look for this thing called DNS and name servers. Okay. So in GoDaddy, if I was in my GoDaddy account and I bought Life Hacking Secrets, I'd be looking for a button somewhere that said DNS and name servers. And if you can't find that, just contact their support. Be like, hey, I'm trying to change my DNS, and they'll be like, oh, click right here and right here. Okay. Again, every system will be a little bit different, but if you know you're looking for DNS, you're going to edit your DNS servers, and you're going to point them to some name servers. Okay, so the name servers you're going to point them to are CloudFlares. So if you come here to CloudFlare, you're going to add your domain right here. So let's say I put in mystupidcooltrick.com. Let's say that was the domain I bought, and I'm going to add that website. It's going to try to set it up in here. It's not a real domain, okay. If anyone wants that, it's available. mystupidcooltrick.com. But I did this like a half an hour ago to make sure it worked here. So I did it for Life Hacking Secrets. After I add the domain in here, I click right here on this little gear, and it's going to say DNS settings. I click on that, and it's going to give me this thing right here. Here, see, it says my name servers. Okay, these are my name servers: jim.ns.cloudflare, ruth.ns.cloudflare. Yours will be different. So you're going to go right there. You're going to get those things, copy them. You come back here, and for your name servers, you're going to post those in there, Jim and Ruth. And then save it, boom. And as soon as you do that, now you've got step number 1 done. Okay, again, guys, this makes no sense to me or to you or to anyone. It does not matter. All you gotta do is when you're setting this up for yourself, watch this video again and rewind and then go through that process. And all you need to know is you're gonna, after you buy your domain, you gotta edit the name servers. You go to Cloudflare, it's gonna give you the name servers. You then paste them back here and save it. And now step number 1 is done. Okay, step number 1, GoDaddy is done. Now CloudFlare, that's step number 2. So now I got to go back to CloudFlare, do step number 2. And what I've got to do is I've got to edit something. Let me come back. I promise you guys we're almost done with the techie nerdy stuff. This is as nerdy as we're going to get today. All right, so after I've got my thing set up right here, then I click right, let's see, I click on setup. No, wait. Click on, yeah, there, setup. And then right here, it's going to say DNS records for listhackingsecrets.com. So where you're going to get this from now is ClickFunnels. So that's the 3rd step in this process, right? ClickFunnels.com. That's the 3rd step in the process. So I showed you guys earlier how to the tools we need were ClickFunnels. So I just bought a ClickFunnels account, let's say. You can come here to My Account, click on Settings, and it's going to pull up this right here. I go down to Custom Domains, and there's going to be this thing right here in red. I'm going to copy that right here. Copy. Then come back here to Cloudflare, and I'm just going to post it. So I already did it right here, but I would just type in my website. So if it was lifehackingsecrets.com, and right here it said points to, and that's where I'm going to paste that thing I got from ClickFunnels. And I would add that. Okay. Now I did it earlier, so I'm not going to do it right now, but that'd be the last step. Now as soon as I've done that, you guys, and now we're done with all techie stuff, we're done. I promise. Now what happens when somebody types in lifehackingsecrets.com, it's going to go directly into the website we're going to build in ClickFunnels. Okay. So that's the techie part, guys. It's over. I apologize. I know that was horrible. But now you've got that documented, so when you're ready to go and do it, you can go and watch the video again and just follow those 3 steps. And that's all the techie stuff we got to do. Now we're done. Now let's move on to some fun stuff. Okay? All right. Okay, so now the fun stuff. The next thing for me, so again, for me, this is the process, right? I start with who am I going to serve? Okay, I know I want to do a personal development product. I want to help people who are struggling, who want to lose weight, they want to make more money, they want to move faster. So I know that's what I want. So what's a domain name that encapsulates that idea? For me, I go get a domain name at GoDaddy. So for me, I got lifehackingsecrets.com. That's the name that encompasses the brand I want to build. Then I pointed it to CloudFlare. I got set up in ClickFunnels. Now that's done. Now for me, the next step is I need a logo. I physically cannot create content or anything unless I have a logo. I don't know why. It's a mental barrier I have. But next thing I need is a logo. And there's a ton of places you can get a logo. But I recommend you guys doing is do what I do and go to 99designs.com to get a logo. 99 Designs is awesome because I post a logo contest and I'll get thousands of designers from around the world to design my logo for free. And I only pick the one that I actually like and I pay for that. So I posted this like 3 hours ago just so that it would have some logos for you guys to see. I just went to 99designs.com. I created a contest and then check it out. In the last like 2 or 3 hours, I got 15 logos designed. And so I can come down here, I can look at them all. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. And typically at first, at least for me, I usually don't like most of them at first. But I'm going to come through and see if I like any of them. Okay. So none of them yet, but that's all right. What normally happens at first, you get a bunch of okay ones. And then what you do is you come back through and you'll rate them. Say, I give this one 1 star or 2 stars. And you rate them all. And you can leave feedback individually for designers. Like, I like this, but I don't like this. And what'll happen is that for the next 3 days and 18 hours, I get to work back and forth with all these designers. And soon there'll be 15, then there'll be 50, then there'll be 100, then there'll be 500. And soon I'll have 500 or 600 logos for me to choose from. And I just pick the one I actually want. Okay, and I only pay for that one. And so it's nice because you get a whole bunch of people designing logos. So over the next 3 or 4 days, I will be hopefully finding a really, really cool logo through here. But most of my really good logos I've gotten from here. In fact, I think you can see some of my old contests. Not all of them are in here because I've used a lot of other things, but if you check out some of these ones. So Success Etc., which is our parent company. Boom, there is the logo that won. You can see that, but I think it's pretty awesome. That's the one that we picked. Yeah, that's on my door right now outside my office. Okay. And so what happened, I wonder if I can still see them. So I had 96 designers submitted 213 different logo designs. I just paid for that one. So you can see like all these different logos. Some are cool, some are lame. But eventually you get the perfect one. Ooh, some are really lame. That one's kind of cool right there. And there's a bunch of cool ones. But it's kind of a fun process. When you guys think you go through it to find the perfect one. Now this one actually came in like the very last day. It just popped up and I just knew it. I was like, boom, that's it. That's the logo. That encompasses everything I wanted to do. And so for you guys, again, go and get a logo done. Logos are fun and you'll enjoy this process. 99 Designs is super fun. It's going to cost you a couple $100 to get a logo done. But again, you've got I had 96 designers design logos for me. Typically, I went and got a logo. I might be able to get a logo done for $100. But if I do that, I got one dude trying it out. And if it sucks, then I'm like, well, there's your $100 and I got this logo that's ugly. Where here, I got 96 people to try it out and I just paid the one dude who did awesome. Okay, and so it's a really cool process. All right. Let's go back to here. Okay, so now you got your logo designed. And now we've got all the assets and the things you need, you guys, to really get started and to start making money with this. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to jump into more of the marketing behind it. Okay. So the first thing when I'm launching a new business, I'm kind of going through this process and trying to figure out how to take this idea and I really want to blow it up and I want to make a lot of money. Right. We talk about like the shortest path, like how do we get from here to here the fastest? I believe it all begins right here with your Dream 100. Like that's the first thing you've got to have to really be able to leverage and scale this business quickly. Okay, and so I learned this process initially from a guy named Chet Holmes, and Chet passed away a couple years ago, but an amazing marketing genius and sales guy. And I had a chance to learn from him and work with him a lot over the years. And he wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine, which is still one of the best sales and marketing books I think I've ever read. You can get it on Amazon for like $15 and it's worth it. It's an amazing book. It's called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. And in that book, he has a chapter he calls The Dream 100. And he talks about how he had a bunch of really cool experiences. One of them, he was he was working for a guy named Charlie Munger, who's a billionaire, and he was running one of Charlie's companies, and he like doubled or tripled sales 3 years in a row for Charlie. And Charlie was like so shocked. I think he pulled him aside and was like, "Now, are you doing something illegal or unethical? Because this has never happened in the history of any of my companies." And Chet's like, "No, this is how I did it." And he shared with him the Dream 100. He said, basically, if you look at all of the potential clients out there that you could possibly want, if you could find like who are your Dream 100 clients, and so make a list of those people. And then for him, for Charlie Munger, he was running a magazine. So he said, who are the 100 best advertisers that we wish we had in our magazine? Like, who are those people? And they made that list. Here's the 100 best people we could possibly have. He says, now take that, and then we need to market aggressively to those 100 people. And he said, when we did that, he was able to take Charlie's company and double or triple it in sales every single year for years and years in a row. Now, when Chet launched his own company, he wanted to do sales and marketing consulting for all the Fortune 500 companies. So he built his Dream 100 list of the top 100 companies he wanted to work with. He started doing this process I'm going to share with you guys. And within like a year, he closed like 40 or 50 of the top 100 Fortune 500 companies in the world by doing this process. A little while later, he wrote a screenplay. And he's like, you know what? I don't know anyone in Hollywood, but I'm pretty sure this Dream 100 idea will help me sell my screenplay. So we went and found the top actors and actresses and screenplay writers and producers and people, and he built his Dream 100 list. And he did this process, and within like 3 or 4 months, he sold his screenplay, made a ton of money, and the movie actually ended up going live, and he had a chance. I think he wrote the musical score for it or something crazy, and he did it all through this Dream 100. All right, and so for me, whenever I launch a company and I launch a new business, or I'm trying to figure out like how to scale something, this is what I come back to, my Dream 100. And typically for what I'm doing and kind of what you guys are going to be doing as well, we're not looking for our Dream 100 customers, okay? Because I want you guys to have a lot more than 100 customers. I want Liz to have 100 customers this month, okay? So I'm not looking for my Dream 100 customers. I'm looking for my Dream 100 partners, okay? That's the key here. Who are my Dream 100 partners? Okay, I have people email me. We probably get 30 to 40 emails a day from people coming to me and saying, Russell, I've got this idea. I've got this product. If you'll just promote it, we'll make a ton of money. Okay, and the answer is yes. If I were to promote it, we'd both make a ton of money. But I get 30 of those requests a day, and I can't do them all, right? But I would be someone's Dream 100 because they can land a deal with me. They're not going to get one customer. They might get 100 or 1,000 customers or more. Okay, and so that's what you're looking for is who are your potential partners that could bring you 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 customers? Who are your Dream 100? Okay, that's the first step here. Now, I'm going to make a list of that. And so I did this with Liz. I've done this with a whole bunch of people right now recently where we sat down and said, okay, who are your Dream 100 partners? What are their names? And so you sit out and you get out an Excel sheet. And in the handouts I'm going to give you guys, these are the things that you're going to be looking for. Let me see if I can pull this handout in front here. These are things I'm looking for, and this is what I would put in the Excel sheet. So first off is what is their website? So first I'm going to say like, let's say my first Dream 100 person is Tony Robbins. What's his website? TonyRobbins.com. Okay. Then did I join his list? Yes or no? Because you need to be on his email list. Okay. We're going to talk a lot about that right now, but email lists are like the holy grail. So I need to make sure that I am on the list of all 100 people in my Dream 100 because I need to see what emails they're sending out, what they're saying, what they're selling, what they're talking about. Because when I get on the phone with that person in the future, I need to make sure that I've done my homework and I know who they are. Okay, I've had multiple people who had me on their Dream 100 list, and they call me up and they'll try to pitch me on something, and I can tell really, really quickly they have not done their homework. They don't know what I'm doing. I had a guy the other day that's just like, hey man, you're one of my favorite marketers. I really want you on my team. Just curious, like, what are you working on right now? And I said, a lot of things. Like, have you seen anything that's come out recently that you like? She's like, no, I haven't looked for a while, but just curious, like, what have you been focusing on? I'm like, okay, I know right now out of the gate, this guy has no idea what I'm doing because I spent the last 4 or 5 months of my business doing nothing but promoting our new software company, ClickFunnels. We were in the middle of a huge launch with hundreds of affiliates promoting. He's asking me what I'm doing right now. He had no idea. Okay, if he would have done his homework and been on my list before he made that call, he'd say, man, I saw what you're doing with ClickFunnels. This is awesome. This is why I love it. This is why I'm going to promote it. This is how I'm going to help you. That would have changed the whole conversation. But he didn't do his homework, and because of that, he didn't get the deal. Okay, it's important. Okay, if you guys watch Shark Tank, the entrepreneurs who do their homework ahead of time are the ones who are successful. Same thing here, you guys. When you have your Dream 100, you got to do your homework ahead of time. Okay, and the best way is to get on their list, follow them on Facebook. Anywhere that they're communicating with the audience, you need to see those things. One of my friends, His name's Stu McLaren, and Stu's a really cool marketer. When I first met Stu, he was brilliant because he was on my list, but then he bought my product, and it was the live training course that I was doing, and every single training course I did, he was on there asking questions and answering questions and being helpful, and I knew his name. And over and over and over again, I saw his name, and he was one of my customers. He bought something, so when he called me up on the phone to do a deal, guess what? I knew who he was already. Okay, I knew exactly who he was, and we were able to set up a deal really quickly, and we ended up becoming business partners, and we've done a lot of stuff over the years because of that. Stu also, one time he was calling this guy named David Fry up. David is actually married my second aunt, and David's one of my favorite people in the world. He called up, Stu called him up and said, hey, I want you to speak at my event, and I want you to promote it to your list. And David said, hey, I'd love to speak at your event, but I can't promote it to my list. I never do that for people. I can't, but I'd love to come speak at your event. And Stu said, no worries, that's awesome. By the way, I hope Ingrid's doing awesome and blah, 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 and kind of mentioned something about his personal life that Dave had written about 2 weeks earlier in an email. And Dave ended up hanging up the phone, and he sat there and said, you know what? Stu did his homework. He knew my wife's name. He knew the story that I emailed my list 2 weeks ago, and he was prepared, and he showed up ready. And so Dave called him back a few minutes later and said, you know what, man? I really like you. I'm not only going to speak at your event, I'm also going to promote it to my list. And boom, that deal was done. Okay, you guys, so it's important for you to be on their list. Now, one thing I want to be careful of is if you join 100 people's lists and you're already getting a lot of email right now, you're going to start getting a lot of email. So I recommend setting up a new Gmail account, set up like Russell's Dream 100 at gmail.com, something like that, and join everybody's email list through that. That way, it's not all going to your main inbox, it's going somewhere else. And then before you make a call with someone, you can log into that email, go and search all of their messages, read through them all really quick, and then boom, you got some more information on them, okay? But definitely join their list. You need to know what's happening. Otherwise, you're going to look so foolish when you get on the phone and try to do a deal with them, okay? Next is, what is their fan page URLs on Facebook? Okay, this is important because in the last step in this process, we're going to be driving traffic to their fans. So you find out what are their fan page URLs. Put that in your Excel sheet. How many fans do they have? What's their flagship product? What's the core thing they're selling? Okay, what's their phone number? What's their address? You want to gather as much information as you can during this discovery process of your Dream 100. Okay, all right. So you can see right here, you guys, the first step here on the left hand is you got to follow, you got to friend, you got to subscribe, you got to buy their products if you can afford them, because you need to start just really understanding these people. Okay. Now the next thing is what do you have that you can do to kind of provide value to this people? Okay. The worst thing you can do is call somebody up the very first time out of the blue, and they have no idea who you are, and you're like, hey, I've got this webinar, and it's awesome, and I think if you promote it, we're both going to make a ton of money. Okay. Like I said, I get 30 of those a day right now, and guess how many of them we do deals with? None of them. Okay. The reason why is because they have not done their homework. They have not. If you look down here, it says Dig Your Well. There's a book that I saw a little while ago on Amazon. It was called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And I never read the book, but I bought the book just because I felt like the author deserved my $19 because he gave me an idea. He made me understand that most of us are going out there and we put all this time and effort into building this entire thing, and then we go and we're like, hey, we promote this, and people don't know who you are, right? If you want someone to promote something for you in the future, you got to start digging your well today. You got to build that relationship today. Okay, dig your well before you're thirsty. You're not going to go dig it like, hey, I'm thirsty. Let me go get this started. Like, this Dream 100 needs to start today, you guys. You need to start building relationships today with these people. Do not wait until your product and your webinar is ready, because if you do, it's going to be too late. Okay, dig your well before you're thirsty. All right, so how do you do that? How do you do that right now and get it started? So a couple things. Like I said, follow these people, subscribe to them, post when they blog. Comment on every blog post they make. When they post something on Facebook, go and comment, share their stuff, whatever you can do so they start seeing you and they start building a relationship with you. Okay. Next idea, one that works really, really good, is a podcast. Okay, this is one of my buddies. His name is Brad Costanzo, and he launched a marketing podcast called Bacon Wrap Business. And Brad has nothing to sell to his audience. He has nothing right now. And I said, why did you do this? And he said, 2 reasons. First off, I wanted to be able to interview tons of cool people and get free consulting from them. I said, all right. And he said, number 2 is he's like, right now, for example, he did my interview with me and said, I interviewed you. I let my audience listen to it. I promoted you on Facebook. And he's like, you and I have a relationship now. We're friends. Like, in the future, someday, if I do want something, he's like, you're probably going to answer my call now because I put you up on a pedestal. I interviewed you and put you out to my world, to my platform. And it was true. Like, I've built a really good relationship with Brad because of this podcast. And so for you guys, like, one idea is starting a podcast. Okay, it's one of the easiest ways to get somebody to return your call. It was interesting. I was watching. If you guys have ever seen Celebrity Apprentice, it hasn't been on for a while. I think they might have canceled it. I'm not sure if they did cancel or not, but I think they might have. But the last season that I saw, Arsenio Hall was on it. If you guys remember Arsenio Hall, like the Arsenio Hall show, right? And I remember being a kid and seeing that show and him coming out and like who, you know, his whole spiel, right? And I remember that during obviously his show was canceled like 10 years ago, and was kind of a nobody. And he came on Celebrity Apprentice. They always bring on like these B-level celebrities, right? So they bring him on, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I remember Arsenio Hall. And they had this challenge where they were trying to raise money for a charity, right? And so Arsenio goes and he's like, yeah, I can raise a bunch of money. He starts calling all of his friends, all his contacts, and guess how much money he raised? Big fat zero. Everyone he called, nobody returned his call. Nobody returned his call. And he was like so frustrated. And I remember he said this line that just like, when he said it, I was like, that's it right there. He said, man, when I had a show, everybody returned my call. He said, now that I have a show, nobody will call me back. Okay? Because there was a platform and people wanted to be on his show. So they would do anything to get on a show. And he was the man. As soon as his platform disappeared, nobody returned his call. Okay, so for you guys, like starting a podcast, this is your platform. This is your show where you can interview the most amazing experts in the world and bring people on. And guess how many subscribers Brad has to Bacon Wrap Business? Okay, I don't know. I have no idea. But he called me and said, hey, can I interview you for my podcast? It's called Bacon Wrap Business. I said, yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'm on his show. Now, I have no idea how many people were on his show, but he was able to get my attention enough that I put down an hour of my time, consulted him for free for an hour on what we're doing and all sorts of stuff because he was putting me on his platform. So for you guys, if you're thinking like, how am I going to get through to my Dream 100? One of the best ways is to start a podcast and bring them on your show. And boom, now you'll start building a relationship with them. You're providing value to them. You're doing a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Okay. So there's idea number one. Next idea, this one I thought was brilliant. This is a guy named Jesse Elder, and I just met Jesse recently. In fact, I saw him on my Facebook thing, and I saw him speak at some event. I don't even know what it was. So when I followed him, or I friended him on Facebook, and he friended me back, and he's like, "Hey man, heard a lot about you." I said, "Yeah, I heard about you," and we just kind of connected through there. And then about 2 weeks later, he posted this thing on his Facebook wall, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm doing this really cool training program called Ethical Cult Building 101, and teach people how to create mass movements and how to use that to sell products and things like that. And I'm going to be selling this in the future for a couple $1,000, but want to know if any of you guys want to come in for free right now, so I can take some people through the process, get some testimonials, and check it out." And I was like, "Yeah, do that." So I posted, "I want in," and a bunch of people said they wanted in. And check this out. I'm going to pull up our little secret group. Hopefully he won't get mad at me for this. But this is the Facebook group right here. It's called Ethical Cult Building 101. And right now it's got 661 members. 661 people who are his friends, his family, and also, guess what? His Dream 100. People who he was following on Facebook, people who he was connecting with on Facebook, getting to know them. He invited them all to this training for free. Now he's got this huge group of people, right? He comes out and he does his very first version of his system. He sells session 1, session 2. He gets hundreds of testimonials of people loving it and people experiencing it. And he's creating this great community and great success stories, all this stuff coming from his training. He's giving away for free. What's he doing right now, you guys? He's digging his well before he's thirsty. He knows that, hey, maybe Russell would have bought this in the future, but if I give it to him for free, what could happen? Maybe Russell will go and in the future he'll like my training. When I do launch this as a product, maybe Russell will promote it. Instead of bringing in just him as that one person, he'll bring in 100 customers or 200 or 500 or more. Okay, he's very strategically building. He's strategically digging his well before he's thirsty, providing value to us, proving he knows what he talks about. And someday in the future, he may or may not, but I'm pretty sure, if he was me at least, in the future he's come out and sell us as a course. Okay, so as you're building relationships with these Dream 100, and you're following him, and you're friending him, and you're sending him messages, and you're thanking him for their email, and you're doing whatever you can to build connections with all these different people, after you've kind of got that happening, go and invite them to your training for free. Give them an experience. Let them experience you for free if you want. I don't care, but give them that experience. They say, "Man, this guy is awesome. I receive more value from him because I promise you, these are all things you got to be doing right now, you guys, to dig your well. Okay? So that's your Dream 100. And that's the first real key here, you guys, is finding out who those people are. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why. I think I share on the next slide. Nope, I don't. So a bunch of reasons why. One of them is, you see this little ecosystem. When you build your Dream 100, this is kind of going to probably end up being all the people who are in your market. Okay? Now, when I first got started online, I was really scared about competition. I remember getting into some markets and I said, there's a lot of people selling stuff like this. This is going to be hard. We're going to be competing against each other. And what I found, though, is that when I go through this Dream 100 process, I find out that, hey, this guy right here, this is what he sells. And it's not the same as mine, but it's in the same market, right? It's in the same ecosystem. And this guy is selling this thing over here. And this person's selling this. And this lady's selling this. And I start seeing, like, what are all the different things people are teaching? Now, if I come in there with an exact same product and I say, hey, Jesse's teaching ethical cult building, I'm going to teach ethical cult building, what happens? Suddenly we're competing, right? And if we're competing, we can't be partners. Okay? But if I look at it differently, instead of coming in and trying to be directly competing with him, but I say, hey, Jesse's got ethical cult building, this guy's got persuasion secrets, this guy's got stage platform selling, this guy's got this. How do I fit in this ecosystem? What do I have that's a little bit different? What's the spin I can take on my content? Where now, when I talk to Jesse my first time, right? Let's say he's my Dream 100. Instead of me going and trying to go and compete with him, say, hey, I'm selling this thing as well, and we're competing. If I make a product that complements his instead of competes, what happens? Suddenly, all these competitors right here all can become my partners. Okay? So it's important to understand that, you guys. How can you tweak what it is you're selling so instead of competing, you're complementing? Because if you can figure that out, it becomes very easy to grow and to scale one of these businesses. Okay? Now, sometimes you're going to have to compete. Of the 100 people, maybe one person is going to be a direct competitor, and that's fine. But the more you can complement your Dream 100 and less you compete with them, the better off you're going to be. Okay? All right, so that's going to be important because that's going to help you kind of figure out, now that you know the ecosystem, the people of your dream partners, you can be able to figure out, like, from that, who am I going to be targeting? How am I going to sell to them? Okay, so there is your Dream 100. Any questions about that right now, you guys? I think it's pretty simple. It's not that hard. All right, speaking of, James just invited me to be a guest on his show. Good for you, man. You're getting it. Okay, having your own platform, you guys, is huge. Even if you have no following right now, okay, it doesn't matter. Right now, it's just about creating a platform, creating a podcast, creating a YouTube, whatever it is, creating something where you have a platform to start sharing with people. Okay. All right, so there's your Dream 100, you guys, and that's the first step. So tonight, after you've gotten your domain name, you've bought your logo, I'd open up Excel and start building out a Dream 100 list as quick as you can. Because the faster you find your 100 potential partners, the faster you're going to find out where in that ecosystem you fit. You're going to be able to start building relationships with people, and you're going to start digging your well now, so that in a month from now, when your training is done and your webinar is perfect, you're not just calling someone out of the blue. You're not one of the 30 emails I get every single day. You're messaging me on Facebook, or you're texting me because we become friends. Okay, you guys, and that's the key here. Okay, we're going to talk about paid advertising. There's ways to do that, but if you want to go a fast line and fast track your success, it's by finding partners, and that's the fastest way to be successful with this. And then, again, we'll get into the paid advertising, all the things you can do on that side, but the fastest way is building good relationships with those Dream 100. Okay?